Welcome to the Dundee Voices podcast, where we shine a spotlight on the people behind Dundee's third sector. In this episode, I speak to Lizzie Palmer from Dundee Rep Dramatherapy, which uses drama and theatre to achieve therapeutic goals. Stay tuned while I ask Lizzie, what exactly is dramatherapy, and why does it work so well for certain people where talking therapy's heaven? Hi Lizzie.
Hi Ben.
How's it going?
Yeah, not bad, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, thanks for having me. So let's have a look at the place then.
Yeah, this way.
So just through here.
It's a bit of a journey to the therapy room.
Yeah, it's a bit of a labyrinth back here, isn't it?
It is. We're under the stage just now. This one here.
Just down this corridor. Okie
Yes.
dokie.
Here we are. This is the individual dramatherapy room.
Okay.
So at some point, just about everybody who comes through the dramatherapy service will have a session in this room.
Okay.
All of our individual sessions happen in here, but also our assessment sessions for our groups. I really love it in here. I love the yellow. I love that we have these big windows, so we've got the light coming in. It connects us out to a bit of nature, but also our windows are mirrored glass, so we don't become like a little therapy fishbowl.
So no one's peeking in while you're having your sessions then.
Exactly.
That's good.
Confidentiality, very important.
Yeah. So tell me what happens in this room then.
A lot of things happen in this room. I can tell you about the toys maybe.
Oh, yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. So I think people quite often have this perception that in drama therapy they have to act all the time. Maybe I have to be in role, I have to be in character. And actually that's not comfortable for everyone, you know, being in their bodies all the time. So we use toys almost as puppets to take on roles outside of ourselves. So say you were coming into therapy with a story from your past or maybe an internal conflict. We could use toys like this to project those feelings onto or project those internal characters onto, and they become something out here rather than in here, right? It gives us a bit of distance from it.
Just feels a bit safer then, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. We call it projection.
Yeah. And I see you've got this big blue space on the wall with nothing on it. Tell me a bit more about this.
This is my big blue notice board, which is deliberately left blank like this. So another tool that we use in drama therapy a lot is ritual. If we're opening a session in the same way and closing it in the same way, it gives that kind of envelope of certainty. And it means that maybe people are more able to access the uncertainty or take a bit more risk in the space in between those two certainties, right? So early on in sessions, we'll quite often spend time connecting to things that feel safe, connecting to feelings of achievement, connecting to hope, and we'll create artworks of those things or maybe gather objects or cards. And the first thing that someone will do when they come into the space for their session is take those and pin them up on the wall. It also means that they've got an ownership over that space, right? This is my therapy room with my stuff. So there's that ritual of putting it up on the wall, but it also means, like, we work with people who have adverse experiences or complex childhood trauma, things like that. And in order to explore those like quite challenging, painful stories and experiences and subjects, having those things that connect us to hope and safety on the wall here means that if things get overwhelming, there's a visual aid to help people to regulate and feel grounded again. And then at the end of the session, they'll take the work off the wall and put it back down here and the space is neutral again. Unconsciously, that's us kind of like putting things back inside, packing things away again, so that I feel safe to leave and go on with my day. So
that ritual at the start and the end is a very important way of setting the scene and then debriefing as well, I suppose, afterwards.
Really important, and holds a lot of safety for the work.
Yeah, no, that's quite impressive. So you have one-to-one sessions and group sessions as well, is that right?
Yeah, exactly. And one-to-ones and group, you know, it depends on what people are coming with. Some people really prefer one-to-one. It's a bit more intimate, it's a smaller space. Maybe there's a bit more permission to kind of go deeper into their stories. Yeah. But some people really prefer working with group and feeling supported by others and having a chance to support others.
Okay. So where does the group support take place then?
Downstairs, I'll show you.
Let's have a look.
This way. And this is the studio where we have our group sessions.
Wow. There's a lot going on in here.
There is a lot going on in here. So we have like all of these creative materials available so that people can pick and choose depending on what they need to be able to tell their story that week. So we've got storytelling cards, we've got art materials, we've got these lovely colourful costumes.
Gorgeous. Might have to try some on.
Please be my guest.
What do we think?
It's your colour, yellow.
Absolutely.
Suits you.
Love it.
And it's a benefit of being in theatre. We get all the hand-me-downs from costume upstairs.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So we have all of these materials available for us to create characters, tell stories. We've got these fabrics so we can create sets, and we can adapt the story and the method according to whatever the group need when they come in.
And how many people do you normally get at your groups?
The groups are up to 8.
Okay.
So we'll have a group of 8 participants, and the commitment for my group sessions is a year, so they run from August to July, and then people can decide whether they want to take space up for another year or whether they move on. But we also have shorter term groups running throughout the year when we have student therapists in on their placements facilitating too.
That's really good. It's really impressive. And I noticed this box in the middle of the room here. Tell me more about
You
this.
spied my box of objects. So this is my magical box of objects that comes with me everywhere. It's always changing. And the invitation when clients arrive for their session is for them to choose something from this box that is resonating with them today.
Oh, okay.
So maybe there's something that's happened in the week since the last session, and there's an object that can demonstrate that, or maybe it's a feeling that you're showing up with. Maybe it's just an object that brings you comfort.
Yeah.
And everyone chooses something to represent, like to be their object for the session.
Yeah, it's almost like a check-in.
Exactly,
Yeah.
a check-in object. Do you want to choose something?
Oh, absolutely.
Have a rummage.
Well, how am I feeling today? I feel good. My heart is full of love. So I'm going to pick the love heart today. I think that's nice. So what do I do with it once I've chosen it?
So we take it over here,
Okay.
where we have a theatre box. They use these upstairs to design the sets for the shows on the main stage. And I'll invite you to choose somewhere in this theatre box to place your object. So maybe you're showing up feeling really confident in yourself. Maybe something brilliant has happened over the last week and you'll be front and centre. Maybe you're wanting to take more of a back seat, so your object might sit behind the other objects, the other group objects. Maybe you want to observe, so you're up here in the rafters somewhere. Maybe you're feeling a bit shy and you're
Hidden away in the corner.
Exactly, like off in the wings.
Yeah.
Where do you want to pop your object?
Oh, well, I think it's got to be front and centre. Right there.
Take up your space.
Take up the space,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, Lizzie, thank you so much for showing me around the place. It's been wonderful.
You're welcome.
I'm looking forward to seeing you in the studio.
See you then.
Lizzie, thanks so much for joining us in the studio today. Just to kick things off for the people who might be unfamiliar, what is dramatherapy?
Thank you. Good question. That actually is the question that most people lead with when I tell them what my job is. So what is dramatherapy? Dramatherapy is a creative approach to psychotherapy. So we are using creative approaches borrowed from the theatre world as a way to tell people's stories, make sense of their inner worlds. I like to use the phrase, it's like the intentional use of creative practices, because I think there's an overlap. A lot of creative practices are naturally cathartic, but we're employing them really intentionally to support people to work through any emotional or mental health needs that they might have, and hopefully come to a place of more peaceful state of mind.
Mm-hmm. And what does the typical dramatherapy session look like?
It could look like anything, because as a practice it is super person-centered. So I will always find the creative way of working that suits the person that I'm in the room with. There's usually quite a lot of structure. We open and close in the same way each session, but it might look like using puppets or storytelling or working with masks or creating a soundscape or role play. Sometimes we work completely in metaphor and nobody has to ever name the meaning underneath the story. And sometimes we work in a lot more of a direct way. Sometimes we're using movement and embodiment and music. It's really dependent on what engages and what the person in the room finds most useful as a form of creative expression.
So there's no one-size-fits-all approach. It's all about the individual you're working with.
Absolutely not.
And what kind of people does drama therapy appeal to? Is there certain people that it's more effective for?
I think that it can work for everyone. And I have experience of working with a whole range of different needs in the drama therapy space. Sometimes it's group work, sometimes it's one-to-one work. But what I find is some people are coming in for something like improving their confidence or their self-esteem or developing social skills, that sort of thing. But it can also work all the way down to like really complex trauma, challenging mental health diagnoses like EUPD, those sorts of things. As long as someone is willing to work in a creative way, I think drama therapy can find a way of taking their story and externalizing it and helping them to process it.
So you mentioned like EUPD, emotionally unstable personality disorder, complex PTSD as well. I've heard that drama therapy can be quite particularly effective for them, and also neurodivergent people as well. Why do you think that is?
One of the reasons is that the stories that we hold inside ourselves, I think traditional talking therapies absolutely have their space, but for some people, holding the story in the mind and the body all the time can feel quite intense. And especially with complex trauma, there's a much higher risk of re-traumatization if we're just telling our story again and again and again. So there is a way for us to take that story and put it on the outside. In drama therapy, we call it aesthetic distance. So we can take a step back and look at what is there. And it maybe helps to give a new perspective or a new point of view. So I have a little example that I have consent to share from one of my previous clients, where she had experienced a lot of trauma, neglect, different kinds of abuse in her childhood. So had a very, very complicated relationship with her inner child and hadn't developed a strong internal parent part in adulthood. And in the sessions, we were able to locate this character inside her, externalize it, and she made a doll of her little self. And then once it was out of her body, she could treat it with kindness and offer the kind of care and parenting to this little part of herself that she hadn't been able to receive when she was younger, and therefore kind of healing that inner part of herself through that, forming the relationship with it once it was outside of her body.
That's quite powerful. It almost feels like rebuilding or repairing that relationship with the inner child.
Exactly.
Sort of thing.
Exactly. And we can do it with all kinds of different parts of ourselves, either in a really direct way like that, or through use of characters. You know, we can turn our internal parts into characters, or we can find stories that already exist in popular culture and borrow those characters to tell our stories for us.
That is really amazing. So we've fleshed out drama therapy a little bit there. Bringing the focus now to the drama therapy service at the Dundee Rep.
Yeah.
How did that first develop?
So it's in its 32nd year now. It was started in 1994. At the time, the engagement programme at the Rep was called Dundee Rep Creative Learning, and the head of that team was Mick Duke, and he was really pushing for these community arts projects, like working with the people in Dundee who maybe would not come into the theatre building itself for workshops. And he was finding more and more that the stories that he was in touch with out in those communities held a lot of pain and a lot of trauma, and people wanted to tell their stories. They had this amazing team of workshop facilitators, but they weren't necessarily equipped to hold the emotions that came alongside those stories. So he developed this position for a drama therapist to come into the team, so the first drama therapist to hold the post was called Genevieve Smith. She still works in Scotland today. She's a really fierce and driven and pioneering drama therapist, one of the first in Scotland. And she came into that role, developed it into what it is now. It's been through this kind of arc of development, bringing in kind of therapeutic theatre and supporting different community projects, and then finally kind of landing in the way that it looks today. Absolutely.
So bringing it back to today now, what does the Dramatherapy service in Dundee look like now?
So I work in the adult drama therapy service, so 16 plus. But alongside me, I have Lawrence Whittingham, who is, this is really exciting actually. He's the first children and family drama therapist. So we have this, what do we call it? The Whole Family Wellbeing Fund is the funder for it. And we call it the Family Wellbeing Service at the Rep. I think I've got that right. Anyway, he's out in the community, mostly in schools and community centres, working with young people, but also being able to bring in their families and work systemically. So with whole families, actually, and also with the systems around them, the schools, the social work team, anybody who's involved in their care.
And this is the first service of its kind in Scotland?
As far as I'm aware, in the UK.
Wow.
Yeah, certainly in a theatre anyway.
And the Dundee Rep is quite unique in its drama therapy offering as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so it was the first... People laugh at me when I say this, but I am so sure that it was the first one in the entire world.
We'll have to get the fact checkers.
I know, but and I keep saying it, but as far as I'm aware, and I can't find details of another one anywhere, but it's the first theatre to have a clinical drama therapy service housed in it, definitely in the UK, as far as I can tell, in the world. I do enjoy saying. There's a couple more now. But also the reason that it works so well is because Dundee Rep has such a focus on community engagement. You know, it's really at the core of the work that the theatre does as an organisation, is connecting with the community around it. So it's become a really important part of what we offer as an organisation.
Absolutely. So what are some of the groups there now that people can get involved with, and how do they get involved with them?
So we have the drama therapy groups at the Rep, and we have the one-to-one provision. And then alongside us in the Engage team, there are a bunch of youth theatre, drama and dance offerings. But we have this really beautiful strand, which is led by Amanda Lowson, of creative wellbeing groups. So there's a fantastic group on a Friday called Feel Good Fridays, which is come in, leave your problems at the door, have a really good time for a couple of hours, and then off you go again, pick them up on the way out, which is actually a really helpful distinction, because in drama therapy we say the opposite, like bring it all in with you, and that's what we work with.
Sometimes you need a space to work through things, and sometimes you just need a distraction and some fun, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we have actually this really lovely pathway between Amanda's creative wellbeing groups and the drama therapy service, where when people are coming towards the end of their time in drama therapy, they can be referred into one of those groups. There's also the Community Company, which is a lovely inclusive community group that devises a lot of its work, which I think meets on a Wednesday evening. But also, if someone is attending those community groups and Amanda or one of the other facilitators notices that someone's struggling with their mental health, they might also be referred into the drama therapy service. So it goes both ways.
So quite a range of sort of levels of support there as well. Moving on now to your own sort of personal journey. What was your own journey into dramatherapy like? How did you get into dramatherapy?
I was an actor. So I went to university, I went to drama school, I was in my early 20s working as an actor, which is what I always thought I wanted to do.
So ever since you were young, was this a dream of yours to be an actor?
Yeah, I think so. So. I've always been involved in drama and theatre like since I was really wee. So it felt like quite a natural pathway for me. And then I found myself doing it. I left drama school and I went to do like all the things that you typically do at the beginning of an acting career, right? So I went and did some theatre and education. I went and did a show at the Edinburgh Fringe. Then I landed a part in this really beautiful community theatre project called Ruthless, which was down in Hastings. And what had happened was the director of the youth theatre there, Rebecca Ellis, had been facilitating a youth theatre group and had noticed some kind of sporadic attendance from some of her young people. And doing a bit of digging, she discovered that there was this problem with youth homelessness in the area and this kind of gap in the rehoming process that allowed them, or it was a barrier to young people between the ages of 16 and 18 like getting temporary accommodation, or, you know, they were sort of bashed backwards and forwards. Are they the responsibility of the council? Are they responsibility of their parents? So she got some funding and she went out and gathered loads of stories and she created a piece of theatre that gave voice to the young people's experiences, to the parents, to the social workers, to the housing officers. And it was a cast of 4. And the first performance that we did invited all of those people who had a voice in the play to come and watch it and then to have a conversation afterwards. And it was so cool to hear all of these people who maybe wouldn't usually have the opportunity to listen to one another, to feel heard and for their experiences to be reflected in this theatre piece. And then we were invited to go and do it for the council members as well, and it led to a change, and it only needed to be a small change, but a change in the legislation around how they like handled cases of homeless young people. And then I was like, whoa, like theatre is amazing. Like theatre can instigate this huge change. And then I carried on with my acting career and I went and did the kind of Shakespeare that you're supposed to do. And at the same time, I was struggling a little bit with my own mental health. I think I hadn't been fully prepared for the impact that rejection was going to have on me during the audition process. I maybe was struggling a bit with a kind of sense of identity. And just as I was thinking like, oh, I don't know how long I can act for, while clinging to this like amazing community project that I'd done, I discovered that dramatherapy existed. And I was like, well, here is a way for me to have all of that creativity that I've been craving my whole life, use all of those skills that I've been cultivating since I was small, and use them to effect change in a really constructive way. So I went and retrained.
I think that's amazing. Just going back to the production where there was this issue with youth homelessness identified, that really stands out to me as an example of like the power of art and theatre and drama and storytelling as a vehicle for change. And the fact you're able to get like people from the council in to witness this production and to have that change instigated off the back of that, I just think that's absolutely amazing. So then was drama as a vehicle for change, was that something on your mind as you moved into dramatherapy?
100%. It made just perfect sense for me. The more I learned about dramatherapy, I went to a couple of workshops, I read some books. The more I learned about it, the more I was like, well, it makes sense. As humans, we use creative methods every day without realising it almost to make sense of our experiences, right? Like we go and watch films or TV, or we listen to stories and music, or we create art pieces, or we go to galleries and look at art pieces. And we're always consuming art as a way to make sense of what is happening around us.
Absolutely.
And what drama therapy does is just takes that and uses it in a focused way with the intention, right? It just gives it a bit of containment.
Yeah. And then your move from being an actor to drama therapy as well, what was that like? Was it a more comfortable experience compared to the world of acting? Was there similarities?
It felt quite new, but it also felt very familiar at the same time. In order to train to be a therapist, you have to have a lot of therapy yourself. So I had never had therapy before, and all of a sudden I was like learning about myself. So it gave me a much more kind of internal connection and addressed some of those kind of troubles that I'd been having internally, while also giving me a real structure for how I could use all this knowledge that I had. Like, it didn't feel like my previous experience was wasted because I was career changing.
Yeah.
I was taking everything that I already had and just finding a new way to action it, I suppose.
So you didn't necessarily feel like you were starting over again, but it
No.
felt like a natural progression.
Exactly. And actually, I don't think I could have got there any other way. Like, I think that all of those things that led to me retraining had to happen in order for me to be able to do this job in the way that I do.
And it's interesting how drama therapy seemed quite new to you at the time as well. I feel like drama therapy is one of these things that people don't necessarily know about or they don't understand. Is there any common misconceptions around drama therapy that come up when you're speaking to people around it?
Yes.
What are some of those?
There are. You're right. People often haven't heard of it. People have heard about art therapy or music therapy. Like, those are quite common. Drama therapy, people are often like, oh, I haven't heard of that. Are you a therapist for actors? Like, do I exclusively offer therapy to actors?
There'd be good money in that.
Yeah, there probably would. Maybe I'm in the wrong place. Of course, I would offer therapy to an actor if they wanted it, but it's, of course, not exclusively therapy for actors. How will I solve my problems by pretending to be a tree? Or you want me to come in and be a tree and get in touch with something? How is that going to help me? Sometimes people think it's coming into the therapy room and just acting out my problems or acting out my trauma or acting out my story, which it absolutely isn't. I mean, we might do that if it feels helpful, but that's not what I ever instruct people to do, unless it's something that they have asked for or that they need, or we've decided together feels helpful. And the other misconception that I think is probably quite prevalent, not only in drama therapy, probably in any kind of therapy, is that the therapist is there to fix everything. And actually, I don't see that as my job at all. My job is to be with you and to see your problems and to accept you as a whole person. Like, it's a super holistic approach. And people quite often coming into therapy will feel worse before they feel better, because it's about getting in touch with the pain and then being able to move through it. Yeah, it can be. So I feel like I'm generally quite affirming and warm as a therapist, but also I can't do the work for you.
Yeah, it's almost a shame hearing some of those misconceptions, because it makes me wonder if there are people who would really benefit from drama therapy that have the whole wrong idea about what it is, and that's maybe preventing them from engaging with it.
You're right. Or the misconception that there has to be a kind of background in drama or in acting in order to engage in it as a therapy. There's absolutely no previous acting experience required ever. And I think people quite often have a bit of leftover pain from like drama in school. Yeah. That, you know, we can let go of that. There's no audience in drama therapy. It's like, and I think this is one of the reasons that I like it as well, it's like doing all of the rehearsals without an audience and never having to do the performance. It's like what happens in the therapy room is like a rehearsal, and then the performance is going out and practicing it in life, right? We practice,
and the performance is life.
Exactly. It's a rehearsal for life.
Wow, that's profound. That is profound. What are some of the emerging trends that you're noticing in the people you support? What are they coming to you with?
Something that I'm noticing more and more, particularly in younger people that I support, is social isolation as a result of use of social media. Mm-hmm. I think we're quite in touch as a society with how damaging social media can be if it's consumed in a kind of black and white way. And there are kind of expectations that can come and pressures that can come along with that kind of consumption of social media. And I'm going to preface this next one by saying I'm absolutely not an expert in it. But I'm noticing more and more people turn into AI and chat GPT, those sorts of things, as a substitute for talking to friends or reaching out to therapists or reaching out for some sort of mental health support. And I suppose I'm a bit concerned that if we replace friendship groups or mental health support, and maybe it's connected to waiting times as well, maybe it's connected to the kind of stigma connected to mental health support and therapy, but I'm worried that it's driving more people to feel more isolated and feel like they then can't reach out. And I don't know. I mean, I've never used it myself. I don't know what kind of advice these programs offer, and I have a feeling that they're sort of programmed to be quite affirming, right? So in a way that could be quite nice to start off with, but it could also reinforce kind of negative self images or self-worth.
There's reports of things like AI psychosis coming out as well.
Exactly.
Like people who've maybe had their worldview shifted a bit by the use of artificial intelligence. So there are definite concerns.
There are maybe people who are more technologically savvy than me and probably younger than me who could give a more balanced view of it. But I suppose, my concern in the people that I work with is that it's driving us towards more isolation. And I just don't ever think that that's a good thing.
Yeah, I do think there's a sense that people are trying not to bother their friends, trying not to bother their families, and it's this hyper-independence of I need to sort myself out and not be a burden that possibly contributes to that as well.
But also, quite often, if we say to people, like, if your friend came to you looking for support or advice, would you begrudge giving them support or advice? And most people are like, no, I'd be really happy to support my friend. So then why is it hard for us to ask for help?
The truth seems to be it's harder offering ourselves the same compassion that we would hold for our friends. That seems to be something very common.
I agree, yeah.
Moving on now, looking a bit to the future, what would you like the future to hold for the Dundee Dramatherapy team?
There are a few things. I mean, in an ideal world, we wouldn't need therapists at all, right? In an ideal world, I'm redundant and I go off and, become a painter decorator because everybody's mental health is sorted and nobody needs psychological support anymore. In reality, I think in the future, what I would like for our team is more therapists, because my waiting list is long. We're in demand. There are a lot of people who need support. So we could do with a bigger team to be able to support more people. Another thread that I would like to extend is we've done a bit of work in prisons. We've been in the recovery hub at HMP Perth, and we've worked up at the Bella Centre in the Hilltown. And I think that's a really valuable strand, reaching out to people who maybe, the prisoners who maybe wouldn't have access to a kind of creative psychological therapy otherwise. I think there's a really nice potential as well for the support inside to be continued once people are released. So I'd like to do a bit of development there as well.
So yeah, the prisons is actually quite interesting. So you've delivered dramatherapy sessions at prisons before.
Yeah.
What was that like? What were the attitudes of the people there towards dramatherapy when you went in, and did you see that shift at all as the session progressed?
Yes, I would say the attitude of both prisoners and prison staff was sceptical, because quite often what dramatherapy looks like from the outside is a bit silly and very playful, and especially in Perth, where it was groups of, let's be fair, quite big blokes, inviting them to play drama games felt quite risky. But also, once they warm up to me and once they realise that I'm not there to make them feel silly, and that we can play like quite a complex ball game for 20 minutes, and they can connect to a sense of achievement and teamwork and collaboration that maybe there are not that many opportunities for in other places in prison life, then it became really valued as a space. And I saw the same guys coming back week after week after week and bringing their friends. So really it was about developing trust and safety and a positive relationship in those spaces.
And I suppose the fact they kept coming back and bringing more people is a real testament to just how powerful an experience this was for them as well.
Absolutely, yeah. It really took people by surprise, I think, at how popular it was and how much people got out of it without having to act out their problems.
And were the staff at the prisons surprised by that at all as well?
Yeah, I think so, especially like we had a couple of guys come along who really didn't engage with anything else that was on offer in the prison. And those were the ones that, people were surprised by. Really? He comes to dramatherapy? Yeah.
Wow. Well, it just goes to show that it can perhaps be effective with people that other traditional methods aren't quite as effective at reaching to. So we'll just wrap things up with our final fun question. What's the best part of a roast dinner?
Oh, roast potatoes.
That's a strong choice.
It's the right answer.
I think I'd have to go for the Yorkshire pudding myself.
I mean, maybe a close second.
Fair enough. We'll agree to disagree respectfully on that one. But Lizzie, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a fantastic conversation.
Thank you for having me.
Looking forward to seeing you again soon.
See you soon.